haven't been out on a night ride in a long time. But it's Friday night. I got a little energy, kind of bored. And I chose to ride instead of work on my CNC machine. Which is probably fine. I don't know, whatever. Gives me time to think about things like my CNC machine, which incidentally is working now. I did get it up this week. I made a little tool caddy right here, and I made a little mailbox address plaque thing right here, and that's it. That's all I've made so far. A couple of practice pieces, if you will. All that just from scrap wood laying around the shop. Little children's on their bikes. It's so cute. So, what I discovered is my frustration with the computer-aided machining package posting G-code that was incorrect to my G-code interpreter EMC2. I'm using Linux CNC basically. It's a pretty good package. It's free. That's what makes it so awesome. And I'm willing to deal with the learning curve for free. So, yeah. Anyway, so when you post the G-code out of Autodesk Fusion 360 using their CAM package, it does a few really interesting things. It makes a lot of assumptions, first of all. It makes an assumption that before it does anything, it wants to go to the Z home, or Z0. And on my machine, Z0 is touching the table. So basically what happens is, what I discovered is it takes that Z0 command and it violently drives the whole spindle head into the workpiece, into the table, into whatever's there. So that's no bueno. I have to fix that still. I think it's going to be as simple as inverting my Z-axis in the machine setup in Linux CNC, and then putting that third limit switch up for the Z home, and then letting it do its thing. Because the X and Y homing functions, they work fine. I did put those limit switches up and got the software running fine, and it'll do just fine. But if I tell it that it's the minimum travel and it's home, it kills the machine. It can't work because, hey, dummy, you just told me this is the minimum travel. I can't move anymore, and I'm home. And it won't let me go the other way, which is weird. I haven't figured it out yet, but it shouldn't be doing that. It gives me a joint error, joint 0 error, joint 1 error, joint 2. I think 0 is X and 1 is Y. So I still have to figure that out, but I have it working without having that figured out, so I'm not that worried about it. And then there's the touch off, and I think what's happening there is, I put the facing bit, or I put a cutting bit in, whatever, and I touch off the workpiece and I tell it that's basically 0, 0, 0. And then it knows, based on how I've programmed the cam, it knows, where to go. Actually, I set 0, 0, 0 on the spoil board, and then I go to the workpiece and I touch X and Y off the spoil board, and Z I offset to the top with respect to 0, so it ends up being like ½ inch or 3/4 depending on the thickness of material that I've set down. But that's irrelevant. The whole point is I'm setting it up correctly, and then I'm hitting go, and then it goes, and it's all successful. Yay. So I've learned a couple of really cool things about G-code. You can actually set up multiple coordinate systems and tell it with like G54 or whatever it is, tell it where to go. So if I have multiple blanks placed out onto my table, I can tell it where the origin of each blank is, X and Y, and then offset the height with a Z, and then cut multiple things at the same time. I'm going to try that probably in the next couple of weeks. It should be kind of interesting. Anybody who pays attention or does any CNC machining probably knows all these things, probably pointing and laughing like, haha, look at this guy, he thinks he knows what he's doing. But hey, I learned quickly. I did all that in like 2 days. I think Monday I started running the machine like officially after I got the limit switches on, and by Tuesday evening I had that tool caddy made up. So that's pretty quick. That's a pretty quick learning capability, I guess, which is kind of characteristic for me, but I'm not bragging. I think what else is cool is I can edit the post, or I can edit the G-code directly in Linux CNC, so I don't have to go back and forth trying to screw with everything. I learned that. Let's see, what else did I learn? Oh, I also learned that the tool table that's programmed in Autodesk Fusion 360 CAM doesn't match the tool table in my Linux CNC. They're two different computers. You know, by the way, I don't know if I mentioned that. One is obviously Linux CNC, and the other one is a Windows-based system with Fusion 360 on it. Two different computers. Just because. There's really no reason other than I didn't want to put Linux on my base computer because it's a custom-built thing, and you know, I don't really want to mess with it. I set it up for one specific thing, and then I just want to leave it that way. So I have to figure out how to export the tool table from Fusion 360, which I think I can do, and then import that tool table to Linux CNC, which I should be able to do. We shall see. So back to the subject at hand of the CNC machine. It makes a lot of dust, a whole lot of dust, and I do understand that dust is unhealthy, etc., blah blah blah. It's sawdust, but you know, still. I am thinking of a way to do a dust collection system. I'm all about the DIY. I don't really want to buy anything because A, I don't have any money, and B, I don't need anything fancy enough that would justify spending the money on it. And it could just be a simple Craigslist shop vac, you know. I don't really care. It doesn't have to be fancy. But I've seen a few DIY dust collection systems using like, what, 5-gallon buckets or something with some vacuum line. I mean, yeah, okay, so DIY, you're still gonna have to buy the materials, and by the time you buy all the materials, maybe you've spent as much as you can spend on a shop vac on Craigslist, like a good one or something. I don't know, but DIY is more fun. So buying material and having more fun, I'm okay with that. There's a motorcycle behind me. I want to wave at him like a dork, but meh. I think I'm going to do like a electronics enclosure box thingy, because currently that's all just kind of mounted on a piece of plywood and kind of dangling in space. So all the dust is getting all over that. Let's see, then the other thing I want to do, I modeled up some spur gears for something my dad wanted. I'll probably cut those out. Those are going to be out of plastic. I gotta go buy the plastic. Stuff's expensive. He says I can get a cutting board at Walmart, like a 1-inch thick cutting board at Walmart, and I'm like, I don't know, I've been there, man. I don't see it. At least not the Walmart in my area. So, I don't know. I guess I'm willing to take suggestions on what to build and what to cut out. You know, if somebody wants like an address label for their mailbox or like a plaque for their house. I mean, you get that stuff at Home Depot. You go buy letters and just nail them up to your post or whatever. That's cool. That's fine. You can do whatever you want with that. But, I mean, if you want and you don't have access to that kind of stuff, let me know. I may be able to hook you up. start to get good at it, maybe I'll start charging $3.50. I have no idea where I am anymore, by the way. I mean, I get the general idea. If I just turn around, I'll make it back, but I have no clue where I am. I think I'm just gonna go this way until I either get really bored or until I hear banjos. Shit, if I hear banjos, I'm spinning around in the middle of the road and getting the heck out of here. I'll make sure to hide my mouth so nobody tries to tell me it's purty. Am I that far out? Am I far enough out for you know, to be concerned about that? Listen to me not being able to make words. Let me try to ask that again. Am I far enough out that I should be worried about people saying I have a purty mouth? I don't know. I don't think so. I've been to some pretty far away places out here. And this isn't one of them. There's not a whole lot out here, but whatever. Scanning for deer. Unincorporated. I don't understand that. Like, why would you incorporate a town? Or specify that it's unincorporated? I mean, is it like for tax purposes or something? I'm not saying it's dumb or anything. I'm just actually genuinely curious. Why would a town want to be incorporated? Are you running a town like a business or something? I mean, I guess from a certain perspective that could make sense. I've just never thought of it like that. Maybe somebody could explain it to me.
Now it's recording.